Hi, this is Mark Hendricks. Thanks for viewing this webinar. I know you'll learn a lot and be excited about what you see and hear. If you'd like to get more leads, prospects, sales, and profits fast, then the next few minutes you spend with me could be the most valuable time you've ever invested in your business career. Let me explain. Of all the marketing strategies available, by far, joint ventures between two companies for the benefit of their customers represents the greatest opportunity for upside profit potential. Joint ventures can make you huge profits very fast, give you instant credibility in markets you want to access, build your customer and prospect database quickly, create profitable business relationships that will last for years and years, and help you harvest profits from your customer base that you could not access yourself. Whether you set up joint ventures for yourself or have someone do it for you, you'll want to watch every minute of this webinar. I will reveal what they are, why you should be doing them, and how to set them up for yourself or others for maximum results. Plus, I'm going to invite you to participate in something very unique and special. More about that later. For now, let me introduce you to the art of the joint venture. A little known yet very important joint venture secret. The ultimate goal of a joint venture is to benefit three parties. Most everybody else that talks about joint ventures, they talk about the person who has the product or service and the person who has the list of customers, the database. But they leave out the third party, which is the most important part of all, who is what? The customers. Because if we don't have the customers in our focus, there is no reason for us to do the joint venture. If we lose focus of the customer and making a good deal for them, don't bother putting together a joint venture. Joint ventures are all about leverage. You're using other people's resources. It can be their time, their money, their expertise, their reputation. Now, how many of you have all the time you want? Yeah, none of us. How many of you have all the money you want to be able to do and leverage up the business like you would like? Wouldn't it be nice to have somebody throw in the money as a money partner while you do everything else, and then you split according to whatever you want to do? How about expertise? Are there things that you don't know how to do? It'd be great to partner up with somebody who knows how to do those things. How about reputation? If you're not well known, but you want to enter a marketplace, isn't it nice to get some piggyback on somebody else's reputation? Maybe you don't have the customers, and you'd like to access somebody else's customers. This is the quickest way to find new customers. Who are the customers you want? Infrastructure, whether it's physical or virtual, meaning internet-wise, or the infrastructure of warehousing, manufacturing, office space, whatever it is, you can tap into those things as a joint venture partner. Products and services, whether you make them or they make them or you provide them or they provide them, those things are available to you as a resource and asset. And their staff. I talked about this either this morning or yesterday, of being able to tap in and use other people's employees at your disposal to be able to get them do the work that you need done to carry out the products or the services that you all need to render to pull off the joint venture. And it's really neat to be able to structure something to where you have the ability to run the show but not have the liability or the responsibility of those people financially or management and these kind of things. So that's where, if your mind expands a little bit about how you can use other people's resources, such as just these 8 things, you can see the leverage potential that you have in getting involved in joint ventures is huge. 3 ways to benefit. If you're a product or service provider, that would be one. Second, you could be a list owner, and what we mean by that is that you have a database of customers and prospects for your niche market or your business. At lunch or breakfast the last couple of days, somebody came up and said, in talking with like business owners, small business owners, medium business owners, quite frankly, large corporations, it's amazing that most of them have no clue who their customers are. by name and email address and mailing address and phone number. Can you think of a large corporation that actually does ask you at every checkout you do with them for your name and phone number? Toys R Us does? Who else? Radio Shack is the one that comes to my mind. They've done it for years. How many more companies do that? That's a short list, isn't it? And that's major corporations. Now think on your local level. The restaurants you go to locally, how many of them are really asking you to fill out, name and email address and get on our preferred customer list? I can personally think of 3 out of like a local operation that is kind of regional, and then 2 national brands. How about you all? Panera Bread does? Okay. See, I can think of Macaroni Grill. I remember them doing it. There's a place called Beef O'Brady's. It's kind of like a sports grill family kind of thing. It's a regional thing. And somebody else like a Fridays or what's the other one? Ruby Tuesdays or something like that. So amongst the whole group here, we're thinking of a total of 5. That's sad, There's huge potential if you can get them to pay attention. And we think it's so simple to set that up. So the list owner. And then thirdly, the JV deal maker or broker. So there's 3 ways to benefit for people who are involved on the business side of the transaction. Okay, the main benefits of using joint ventures to build your business as the product service provider, we're talking specifically now, you get new prospects fast. You get new customers fast. You get more sales and profits fast. No cost or low cost. This is probably the biggest advantage to it. Remember the story I was telling about the car dealership this morning, to where he was very willing to do that deal and make it a great deal. See, that's the other thing when you're doing deals and playing middle. You want them to do a great deal that they normally wouldn't do. He couldn't do that in a newspaper because he's got the newspaper cost. But for my little Boy Scout troop that we were raising money for, he had no upfront costs. So he was basically willing to give that $500 as his advertising cost, but he didn't have the cost unless he was making money. That's the big difference. That's the cool thing about structuring joint ventures like that. Pay for results, not advertising. If you would write that in there and circle it, put stars around it and exclamation points, that should be your credo. Pay for results, not advertising. Newspaper, yellow pages, mail-outs, all that kind of stuff costs you up front. And when you first start doing it, do you know if it's going to work or not? No. But a lot of times you have like in yellow page advertising, guess what? You commit to a year of paying them the bill, right? And newspapers, if you've done advertising in newspapers, the favorite line that newspaper salespeople tell you when yours doesn't work? Well, it works for all these other people. Have you all heard that line? Oh, who cares if it's working for those people? It's not working for me. What do we do with this ad? Well, it's working for other people. That's not a good answer. So by doing joint ventures and coming up with no-cost, low-cost ways to do it, we get results without having to pay for the advertising up front. And it builds your own customer and prospect list. Now, why is that important? Because now that you have your own list of prospects and customers who really like you, can you start doing joint ventures on the back end yourself and leveraging that up? I was talking yesterday about, if you're doing great, you might be converting 10% of your sales or whatever your number is. But what about the other 90% that you may have in your database? Isn't that just ripe for doing joint ventures and offering things that are not yours, of other people's, so that you can make part of that sale? How many 50 cent on a dollar sales would you like versus 0 or $100 per sale on 0 sales? I would do 50 cents on a sale all day long, right? 50 cents on a dollar and make a bunch of sales, than to offer something for 100 and have 0 sales to that 90%. Doesn't that make sense? Back-end sales with other GV partners. We just hit that one, okay? As the list owner, what's the benefits? You make more money and profit from your customer list. You take care of your customers. Here's one of the things that I would like to emphasize. The way I look at my customers is you have found the right place to be. I am going to wrap my arms around you, love you, and protect you for as long as you and I both breathe. That's my view of customers, okay? There are sharks out in the water. I'm going to let you know where they are and when they're about to bite you. So the safest place for you to be is in my boat. And I would suggest to you that's a good way to help out your customers. And I'm going to also let them know I'm not the end all. There's other people who have great products and services, not only in the market niche that you know me, but in all these other areas of your life too. And I've already explored some of those things. Here's what I found out. And I'm willing to share those resources with you too. Now, if I can save you the pain, the frustration, the time, and the money to avoid all the train wrecks that I had to go through to find one that really works and somebody that's trustworthy, would that be valuable information to you? I see you shaking your head. Yes, that's good. Okay. Can't you do that for your customers too? And is it okay that you make money financially from making good recommendations, trustworthy recommendations where they really benefit? I think so. And it's just a mindset thing. Now, sometimes will I refer people and not be part of a transaction? Absolutely. But there's a gold mine there in your customer database. 90% of your database, probably minimum 90% of your database, if they're not buying from you in the first 2 or 3 years, they're not buying from you. And I'm a guy who's willing to wait on people until they can't fog a mirror. I mean, my whole philosophy of marketing is I'm there and there's this gentle, gentle touch pressure forever. I'm here, and when you decide to become aware that you want to look my way, I'm ready. I'm not going to pound you and say, hey, pay attention. It's not that. It's just that I'm ever present, slight pressure, that I'm there. There's a fine line between being a pest and being persistent. Being a pest is a negative trait. Persistence is a positive trait. I never want to be a pest, but I will always be persistent. They recognize that they're actually talking to somebody who doesn't want to be a pest, so I'm going to be polite. I'm not going to slug, but I'll politely apply pressure and be persistent forever until they tell me to jump in a lake or they can't fog a mirror. And that is part of the success of what I got out of life. So persistence is a real positive trait. Okay, so take care of your customers, be persistent, be patient with them. I've had people in other businesses in my life where they come in 5 years after the initial contact, and I used to use these bright pink postcards for direct mail of, you got to be brave to do this. Okay, real men can send pink postcards, okay? And not just any shade of pink, there's one particular shade of pink. And they would save these postcards, and when they would come in, they'd bring a stack of these postcards with them. And they would invariably say, I really was interested, it just wasn't the right time. We had all this other stuff going on in life, and now we're ready. And I had been that gentle persistence there, and when it was time for them, it was like, okay, now's the time, what's his phone number, let's go see Mark. So that has worked time and time again. Don't give up on people till they tell you to jump in a lake or they can't fog a mirror, okay? Expand your business by offering more products and services without startup costs or overhead. You, the list owner, you don't have to build the infrastructure. You don't have to take out the loans. You just find somebody that's got all that stuff and partner up with them to help them sell more of their products through your marketing channels. Back-end sales, Once again, it can be your products or somebody else's products, to where the customer buys from you the first time. Okay, what else would they like to buy? More of the same stuff? Higher quality of the same stuff? Repeat of the same stuff? Somebody else's stuff? And on and on and on. Build your customer base for more deals with other JV partners. This is where something like the room that we have here together and all the people that you know too, it really gets interesting quick. Because once you start doing these, word gets out that you know how to do these, and more importantly, that you're trustworthy. You will find quickly that if you're not trustworthy, you will not last long at all doing joint ventures. If you do not deliver on your promises, there is no second chance, because there's too much on the line with your JV partners. There's reputation, there's dollars, there's infrastructure, there's all this stuff that depends, quite frankly, on a handshake. And if you're not worth your handshake, you're not worth it. As a JV deal maker or a broker, what's the benefits? No product, no customers, no money, no problem. Other people are going to supply those. Okay, what you are going to be able to do is leverage off the assets of other people. You're going to have to educate, orchestrate, and manage, and that's how you get a percentage of the profits. And once again, the nice thing is you get more referrals to do more joint ventures. So you get a reputation of being able to do this and put things together, and from that, it builds your professionalism and your trustworthiness as a joint venture deal maker. Okay, setting up joint ventures for other people. Find someone who has a good relationship with their customers. That's probably more important than the product. Why would that be? Because that's the most important thing. That customers trust the person who they do business with. Then find someone else who has a great product or service that would be beneficial to those customers. Then we have to contact, educate, and manage the joint venture for the two parties. And then the splits. Let's say that somebody was doing 50-50 after expenses. And you, JV broker, came in the middle of a thing. Well, one way you could do it, let's say you wanted 10% for your fee. And you're talking to one of the parties and you have them interested first. So we're having to approach the second party to explain what's going on. Well, it may be a stretch to go in and say, okay, it's normally a 50-50 deal, but instead, now you're going to get 45, and you're going to get 45, and I'm going to get 10. Now, why would that torque possibly one of the partners? Because he's missing out on 10% now of what he or she was going to get, right? 45 versus 50 of what they were going to get. 5 out of 50 is 10% to them. Out of the whole deal is 5%, yeah. So instead, let's say Anita and I have been talking about this, and we're going to talk to Sean about it, and I go and talk to them, and I said, Anita, here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to take my 10% out of your side. But I'm going to tell you why that's important, okay? Is because you're going to get a whole bunch of new customers, and you'll be able to have them as customers for the whole lifetime, and you'll be able to make more and more money off of them with no risk of acquiring those customers. Does that make up for that 10% real quick in your head? Okay, now I can go over to Sean and say I have a 50-50 deal. I don't have to go over and say, okay, 50-50, you're getting 45, or I could go say, you get 45, and she gets 45, and then what's going to be the magic question that he's going to come up with? What happened to the 10? Because, I mean, they do math. And then I say, well, that's my 10. And they can either say yes, or they can say, oh, that's interesting, which means, I don't know that I like that, right? But it's much easier just to say, it's a 50-50 deal. Now, it may be that he's got a lot more resources, and we need to do 75%, oh my gosh, to him. to acquire new customers for you. But still that may be okay, right? Depending on how much money you can make on the back end doing more business with all these new customers. So there's all these little things that you tweak here and there to make the deal work. And everybody has to feel good about it. Have you ever been in a joint venture where you didn't feel 100% good about it? Did it ever affect how much you really put into it, your effort? Big time, right? Because if you don't feel good about it, it's like, it's really hard to do that 100%, effort. It's just, we're built that way as humans. If we think we're getting a raw deal, we kind of just go through the motions and get it, and we get it done, and then, okay, thanks very much, that was great. But how much do you really want to do another one like that? Then no way. What you've been watching is a 20-minute excerpt from an educational presentation at the live workshop event called the JV Dealmaker Experience. In the rest of the 90-minute presentation, attendees learn in detail the complete joint venture process of how to find JV partners, contact them, educate them, get them on board, set up infrastructure to track sales and deliver orders, and get customers to buy. Plus, what you should put in the joint venture endorsement letter, which is critical to your joint venture success. And also, the 3-step psychology of the buying process, the 6 psychological triggers to use in every ad, sales letter, or website, the difference between a sales letter and the JV endorsement letter, the 3 critical elements to include in your JV special offer, 5 important JV endorsement tips, and 6 more ways to leverage your JVs for even more profits. All of this joint venture training is just one part of what the whole JV Dealmaker Experience live workshop weekend event includes. Let me tell you more. We have 10 structured sessions plus lots of free time networking built into this one-of-a-kind program. And you'll really like the fact that it's not a pitch fest of endless sales presentations. There is no back-of-the-room table rush or anything like that. No, not at all. Here's a quick rundown of what you'll be learning and doing. First, we start off with what we call the JV pitch. Using my proprietary methods, you craft your own JV pitch with the help of your JV team partners you'll be mixed with. The JV pitch is your tight and to-the-point message you use all weekend to quickly identify and tell possible JV partners exactly who your offer is for, what problem it solves, how your JV partners benefit, and how to get the JV deal going fast. Then we move into what's called the JV Explorer. You'll learn how to approach others to discuss JV concepts by first asking questions, finding out what other people want and need, and being helpful, which leads to opportunities and possibilities that may be open to you for your JVs or for bringing new JV partners to others. Then you'll put your new knowledge to work as you and your JV wingman work the room together as a team, finding as many JV opportunities as possible in this fast-paced JV exploration exercise. Next, we take a 90-minute lunch for you to have some great networking time with the other attendees, and then we're back for the session we call JV Generator. This is one of our JV Mastermind sessions where we ask for volunteers who are new to creating JV offers to stand front and center as we work through their JV pitch and approach to help them improve and tighten it up for maximum communicative effectiveness. These are not hot seats where gurus tear you to shreds in front of everyone. No, not at all. These are positive and helpful suggestions and comments that can be immediately applied to increase your chances of securing more JV deals. Even if you're not among the volunteers, you'll gain an amazing insight into how JVs can be structured to benefit all parties involved and the best ways to present your JV ideas to others, whether it's your products and services or the products and services of others too. The last structured session of the first day is the JV Connector. To be successful at JVs, it's not only what you know, but also who you know. In this session, using all the strategies you've learned in the prior sessions, You're now ready to go one-on-one and face-to-face with the other JV Dealmaker attendees in discovering a multitude of JV deals for yourself, both as endorser and endorsee, and also build your own JV referral network, all at the same time. Then we have a party. We call it the JV Mixer. It's freestyle networking with everyone, and you can try out some of the concepts you've learned in the first few training sessions. After the mixer, be sure to go out to dinner with some of your new friends for even more networking. And all of that is just the first day. Here's what you learn and do the second day. The first session is called the JV Broker. One of the most exciting things about JVs is you don't have to have a product or a list to do them. You just need to know other people who have those assets or other assets that you can represent and introduce to people. You can make a terrific income and lifestyle for yourself by finding, educating, introducing, helping, and managing JVs using the valuable and many times undiscovered assets of others. In this session, you'll focus on putting people together who should get to know each other and do business together, and you get paid for your ability to bring buyers to sellers. Once you master this, you become the MVP of business no matter where you roll. Up next is the JV Spotlight. This is the second of our JV Mastermind sessions where we ask for volunteers who have JVs they already have been doing and want to present them to the whole group. We will ask specific questions about their offering, clarify things if need be, and give a quick thumbs-up show of interest in their offer. Once again, these are not hot seats where gurus tear you to shreds in front of everyone. No, not at all. These are positive and helpful suggestions and comments that can be immediately applied to increase your chances of securing more JV deals. Even if you're not among the volunteers, you'll gain an amazing insight into how JVs can be structured to benefit all parties involved and the best ways to present your JV ideas to others, whether it's your products and services or the products and services of others too. Next, we take a 90-minute lunch for you to have some great networking time with the other attendees, and then we're back to finish up the day with the JV Dealmaker. In this training and workshop session, you'll discover more advanced concepts that give you the tools and confidence you need to be successful, whether it's for your own account or to serve others in your role as JV Connector, JV Broker, or JV Dealmaker. And we finish up the day with the JV Frenzy. Here's where it all comes together. It's a 90-minute free-for-all where you re-meet those you need to reconnect with and meet others for the first time you may have missed in earlier sessions. Whether it's finding JVs for yourself or putting deals together for others, you and everyone else will work their JV Dealmaker magic in a wild whirlwind of JV frenzy. Then we're off to have dinner with new friends for even more great networking. Most of us stay the night and have breakfast together on Monday morning for the JV Breakfast. We always enjoy this last chance to have some great quality time with your new JV friends and tie up any loose ends of your JV deals and solidify your JV action plans before you go home. All in all, there's no better way to learn the art of the joint venture than by doing them, and the JV Dealmaker experience does just that for you. You roll up your sleeves, learn the strategies and techniques, and apply them right then and there with all the other attendees who are some of the sharpest people you'll ever meet. There is no need to hang out in the halls to make the best deals, like we all do at the other events. The JV Dealmaker experience is different. The best place to be is on the inside of the workshop. It's where all the real JV action is. I want to personally invite you to sign up today and invite a friend to come along. I know they'll appreciate you thinking of them too. Here's where to sign up now.